We're finally back with back-to-back sprint weekends to the round 6 of the Formula One Championship in 2024. And this time we go to the far west to Miami in the United States of America. So, pretty wild weekend. A lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of things happening off track. Adrian Newey, and a lot more to unpack, which I still cannot come out of it because Adrian Newey leaving Red Bull after 2 decades kind of does not sit great with me because he's given so much to the sport. He's worked with multiple championships, a very mixed bag. But again, towards the end of the weekend, we saw something we thought we'd never see, which we'll dive into later. But what a weekend. I think a lot of action, a lot of surprises, a lot of unseen incidents as well. What are your thoughts, Shags? I just want to run through with this now.
Definitely, Vishal. I mean, what a weekend, I would say, because this weekend is something that nobody would have expected in their entire lifetime, especially when you're used to something that has been happening for this entire season, and all of a sudden it's just something else. And then literally the viewers are like, "What is happening? What is going on?" But whatever is happening, I love it. That's
Yeah,
every viewer's opinion after this recent weekend. What a race! What a race! It was a lovely race.
yeah. I
But
think to start
I,
off with, I think the generic news outside the track that happened even before we entered the weekend. I think again, like we discussed, Adrian Newey leaving Red Bull. A lot of speculation around, him moving to either Williams. Like, will he have a homecoming to Williams, or will he have a move to Ferrari, or will he retire? There's a lot of speculation around it. Lewis Hamilton giving his 2 cents about, wanting to work with Newey. A lot of talk going around there. And apart from that, we also saw Hulkenberg, Nico Hulkenberg, going to kick Sauber, which is going to become Audi. Not the German driver I expected to be there because I wanted a certain beekeeper to come back. Sir is busy racing some other series somewhere, sitting in surprise, giving surprise visits and all. God knows what he's doing, but man is a good teaser. Not sure what he's doing, but okay. But yeah, what anything else that you would want to add to things outside the track?
well, outside the track, that's basically David Sanchez that who has entered again, and that you will explain anyway
Yeah,
about David Sanchez
yeah.
because that is your expertise. But I would like to add another thing, but although it's almost related to this track of Miami, but it's the livery change from VCARB and Ferrari. I don't even know what to say about the livery change in Ferrari. Literally, we expected something else, and Ferrari provided us with something else.
I
I
mean,
mean, the background that you have of the Ferrari, that was still fine, and we expected all those red accents to turn completely blue, but sadly, that did not happen.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
yeah,
But
I think
nevertheless, the livery change in Wake Up was perfect. That was definitely on point.
it was definitely out of the blue. Literally, I think Ferrari was out of the blue with a little bit of blue sprinkled on top, primarily because they bagged a new sponsorship with HP, blah, blah, blah. Should have been a printer, but sir said, okay, take blue, but it's okay. Sar is a little shy like that. But yeah, I think I'd love the driver overalls for sure. I think it was very icy blue of sorts. Seemed a little refreshing. But V-Carb, I don't know. It looked like one forgotten ice gola only. It properly looked like one forgotten ice gola. But yeah,
Remember when we were kids, we used to,
oh my
buy
god.
all those different colors clays, and then we just used to mix it together. It's like,
Swear to God, I swear to God. But yeah, look like that livery did work some magic. we saw a certain honey badger jump up the entire order and go really really well. So that was a good sign to see, which we'll get to later. But yeah, coming back to David Sanchez, with all the technical leadership moving out of Alpine and all of that, David Sanchez was part of Renault back in 2005, which was their champion-winning season. And I think him coming back kind of instills a little bit of confidence as to the things are on the right track, or rather, they got their act straight, to be honest, because it seemed like a total mess. But yeah, some good sign over there. So yeah, enough of stuff outside the track. I think we're also planning on talking about Newey at length, which will probably come as a different video altogether. But yeah, talking about the only practice session that we had, what are your opinions on having that 60 minutes of practice when it's a sprint weekend? Do you think it adds to a lot more unfamiliarity, or what are your takes on that single practice session for the entire weekend?
In one word, like there's only a one word answer which comes into my mind. It was complete chaos. Practice session was a complete chaos. It was like average Bangalore traffic for some reason. Especially like during the weekend. During the weekend in general, it seemed like an average Bangalore traffic. Literally, all the drivers just trying to squeeze through the gap between the drivers, and especially like during the quali as well, people are losing their times as well as their minds, because all the drivers are literally just right there and they can't even move. Just an average day in a Bangalore, I might say.
Some places felt like Silboard, some places felt like Marathalli. It was just, man, chaos. But yeah, I think apart from who finishing P1, who's got a habit of doing it, I think Piastri at P2 was a very refreshing sight, primarily because a certain Chuck Leclerc, as he's called in the US, decided to drift across the track, not hit the wall, and he said, "Okay, I'm gonna park here." Lewis Hamilton comes and says, "Sir, you can't park here," and then just goes around him nicely, and then Charles Leclerc going for a toss through FP1. But apart from that, I think it was also a little bit of a surprise seeing Stroll up high up top in the practice session at P5. And one other very interesting observation was that the top 10 had soft tires on, except Yuki Tsunoda at P8, which was also a very interesting thing because he was on medium tires. So I'm not sure what kind of simulations they were running, but it was very interesting to see Yuki Tsunoda being up there, which showed early signs of promise for Vcarb. But the rest of the 10, and it was a very mixed bag, a mixed usage of soft, hard, and medium tires. But it seemed like some upgrades that the teams brought were working really, really well, especially with McLaren and Aston for the most part. But I think Mercedes definitely started gravitating backwards a lot. So that's a little bit of a summary of FP1. And do you want to take me through what happened with sprint quali? I think that's where most of the fun happened, or the weekend started picking up with sprint quali for the most part.
Sprint quali is literally like where the weekends seem to be, interesting. That is when the weekend was like, okay, fine, this is going to be a fun weekend for every one of us, even including the drivers, including the viewers. First off, we should start off with the disappointed in Mercedes, because they were out in SQ2. Can you believe that? Literally, Mercedes, the pinnacle of Formula One engineering and technology and advancements during its time in 2020 and 2021. They were out in SQ2. Who would have thought that in 2024 Mercedes would be struggling so much? They are now literally in midfield. They're like below midfield teams. But nevertheless, Mercedes, both of them out in SQ2. Well, primarily Hamilton kind of dashed into the wall, which affected his time a lot. But nevertheless, no excuses for bad timing. Anyway, well, Norris, from McLaren, of course, he finishes P9 in sprint quali. That is like below average for McLaren because of the upgrades that McLaren has got in recent days. They are fast in straights. They are very
Too
fast.
good. Too
Literally,
good.
the McLaren, they were just going zoop, zoop, zoop right past Ferraris like it's nothing. It's basically like it's basically a BMW compared with a Bangalore auto.
Ouch.
Literally, BMWs will be zooming around with Bangalore autos and stuff.
Which
But
reminds
anyway,
me,
it was
which reminds me of a very particular incident that happened. I'm not sure if it was sprint quali or if it was practice. Max Verstappen on a hot lap finds an Alpine moving on the outside and then goes on the radio is like, what the hell's happening on the side? David Coulthard unhinged and he's like, I think that Alpine's flat out. I was like, oh my god, the balls to say that. He's like, okay,
wow.
should have been super
Well,
awkward. But I'm like, man, crazy stuff.
well, jokes on David Coulthard. Alpine finally got its first point of the season.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, I
Well,
think bigger topics to talk about. We saw Haas make it into Q3. Nico Hülkenberg going to Q3, finishing P10. But more importantly, the man that we know from Red Bull, the man that we know from McLaren, who saw the demise of a star driver, saw another ascending of sorts to P4, none other than Daniel Ricciardo. And we saw that iconic celebration. Key, key, key. Oi, oi, oi. That was so
those
Daniel Ricciardo. It was so good, so good.
those magic words, people were missing that Daniel Ricciardo, and he like even for a brief moment, he was there for P4. But anyway, people loved it. People loved Daniel Ricciardo stay in the front row. I mean, not front row, it was second row, basically. But yeah, you get the point. And my dear host is busy belting his dinner.
Please forgive me. I did not have dinner while we're recording. It's what, 11 p.m. So, food first.
So basically, this is what you guys get, a dedicated host for your entertainment. So please like, share, subscribe to our channel.
ಊಟ
Please.
ತಿನ್ಬೇಕು, ತಿಂಡಿ
Please do that.
ತಿನ್ಬೇಕು. Everybody eat food. Fill your tummies. Come watch our episodes. Support us more. That's all you have to do.
Yes. Anyway, we are moving out to sprint after sprint quali. Now, what
What
should
an
we talk
opening
about?
lap. What an opening lap. I was watching the sprint and I saw the first 3 laps and I'm like, okay, that's going to be the order. Let's finish it off. But looks like I missed a little more. But definitely the first 3 laps, very, very exciting. Very unfortunate for Lando because a certain Lewis Hamilton decided that he forgot to have brakes and went into one Aston Martin, that went into another Aston Martin, and that Aston Martin went into another McLaren. It's like Bangalore traffic again. Good morning. Did you miss me? Absolutely not. Lando Norris
Basically,
standing the other way
Lewis
around.
Hamilton. No, see, basically, Lewis Hamilton channeled his inner Danny Kvyat. He decided to become a torpedo for a change.
Torpedo. The torpedo is back.
But
You can
anyway, it
remove the
was
man. You can remove the man, but not the idea.
but anyway, basically that first turn in the first lap, it was basically a Mercedes meeting. There was a table discussion between the Mercedes.
Ooh, damn. I just realized. Shit. That's
There was
crazy, dude.
the main Mercedes was like, so anyway, how are my dear customers doing? Are they doing good? How are they doing?
Bump into another customer, that customer will bump into their home, and that home will break another house. That's what happened. So yeah.
Yep, that's it. That's what happened.
And Fernando also, I think Stroll picked up a lot of damage, ended his race right there. But I think a lot more important stuff to talk about is how bad Mercedes were with their updates, that they were fighting a Haas
It is evolving just backwards.
for the most part of the sprint. And oh my god, K-Mag went all guns blazing. He's like, Tya, show me how to go. He's literally like, I'm become Wade Alonso. Good night. He just on track, pushing Hamilton wide, pushing, overtake, letting him pass because he just cut a corner, and then going back in front, and then blocking him enough that Yuki Tsunoda passes him. I'm like, dude, what is this race? I'm like, what are you doing? You already got a penalty. Might as well let him go. Save your place. Instead of bunching everybody up behind you and then ending up last. Little bit of a brain, felt like a little bit of a brain fade from K-Mag. But yeah, I think a lot more to talk about apart from that. What else did we see? I want you to probably take it over from here.
Well, I actually want to add few points. First point is for the editor who's going to edit this video, especially when my dear host Vishal Verma said Wide Alonso. Put that Chad Alonso meme below again because that is our thing now. Adding the Chad Alonso meme.
Alonso.
That is my note to the editor. And also another note, that is K-Mag. Like he is a genius in late braking, right? He was late braking to the core.
Yeah, man.
He was entering late to that corner and he made that move happen on Hamilton. That was a really bright move actually. And also from that fight, Tsunoda comes out of nowhere, does the same Silverstone 2022 move, gets into that, and Tsunoda gains on Hamilton.
Somehow, for some reason, whenever there are three cars involved, Lewis Hamilton is always at the center of it. Only once has he benefited out of it. Every single time has he gotten pasted, he started crying for it. What only his life is like.
And also, we have seen a lot of times that Lewis Hamilton was crying throughout this weekend.
I mean, for
Sorry,
good
Lewis
reason.
Hamilton fans.
I mean, this time I think it was for good reason because the car was not great for the first time. At least it was not 2021 or 2019 or 2020 level crying, which made everybody angry in the first place. But now people are sympathizing with him, primarily because he's also coming to Ferrari. That's another situation. Sorry. A little bias is coming there. But yeah, you were adding something. Sorry.
Imagine. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, just imagine the Mercedes fans. How will it be once Lewis Hamilton moves to Ferrari? Literally, Mercedes fans are right here. They will go to Ferrari fans. Like, you know that meme where Homer Simpson just goes inside the bush as Mercedes fan and comes out as Ferrari.
Oh, okay.
It's like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, enough of meme material. I'm just kidding. There will be a lot of meme material.
Yes, there better be a lot of memes on this. So again, talking about the Honey Badger, Sir comes out and puts a massive defense on Carlos Sainz and on Piastri as well. I think he did a very good job to keep Carlos behind and also Piastri behind. So great kudos to probably put that kind of a fight in a car that's probably not even deserving of a midfield position as such. Good to see Ricardo back. Love to probably see him consistently be better. Can he go to the second seat at Red Bull? I'm not very sure, given that there's so much speculation around Max, around Perez. You never know what's going to happen. But yeah, at this point, if somebody says he's going to go sit in the Mercedes seat, I'd believe them because Lewis Hamilton went to Ferrari. Adrian Newey is leaving Red Bull. Anything is possible in the F1 world right now. So yeah, that's the sprint put together. I think moving on, I think moving to quali, usual suspects out of Q1, nothing very out of the blue, except that Danny Rick had a very contrasting session, got out in Q1, which was probably where he was ideally gonna be, but yeah, it was expected. I would have probably expected he would have gone out in Q2. But what did you think? Was it a little bit of a shocker for you, or was it something that you expected? What was it like?
To be honest, this is a kind of a mixed opinion because it can be a shocker as well because that same man scored P4 in the same day previously, but then later on, he is out in Q1. As we have seen in last race itself, Hamilton, he goes onto the podium in sprint. I'm talking about Chinese Grand Prix actually.
Right.
So
Right.
Hamilton goes on the podium, then he gets out in Q1. It was similar to Chinese Grand Prix in Miami GP itself. So I mean, it was a shocker, definitely, but also it was kind of I don't know what to say. It was actually pretty much contrasting. It was pretty much contrasting session from Danny Rick.
Yeah.
But anyway, GG Danny Rick still.
Still, I think it was a fairly decent weekend for him. I think it definitely gonna feed to his confidence, to be precise, or to be a lot more considerate, considering his position as of right now. That he's been outqualified, beaten by Sonoda quite a few times, which was also the case with the quali and the race. But yeah, very mixed weekend for Alpha Tauri. But overall, I think it was a very good weekend for them compared to the double DNF that they had at China. Now, talking
Yeah,
about
definitely.
Q2, yeah, we usually see one Aston Martin get through because the other one is a reservation seat. Reservation seat ಏನು ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ we don't really give a lot of importance. We consider there's only one seat in which a rookie is racing, which also explains why he might have gone out in Q2. An exceptional rookie, but bad days आगते हैं. It's okay. ऐसी बड़ी बड़ी बातों में छोटी छोटी चीजें होती रहती हैं. That's all you can
Definitely.
expect. But yeah, definitely, jokes apart, was a little bit of a surprise seeing Alonso go out of Q2. But what did you think? Any other surprises towards the end of Q2 or Q3? What did you think?
To be honest, the major surprise that I have seen in Wally was Tsunoda and Hulk stay in top 10 of the grid. Especially how often do you see a Haas and a Vcarb literally staying in Q3? Because when you see there is a mental picture painted by an F1 fan. If you talk about Haas, it's literally occupied in either P19 or P20.
Yeah.
That's basically it. That is the mental picture. But all of a sudden, a Haas in Q3.
But
Man
you
is
know
doing
what?
wonders.
You know what? Kick Sauber is gonna replicate. Look at me. I'm the new Haas. Literally every
Yeah,
other
that
race, you
is
see
definite.
them. Every other race, they're out in Q1. They're always at the bottom, except they're only when there are other people crashing out. They're kind of building on their misfortune. Somebody's misfortune is somebody's fortune. So let's put it to put it nicely. I think that's the only way that I can call it. But yeah, Hulkenberg. I think Hulkenberg has been extremely good. He's been consistently he's been making it to Q3. He's making it into the points. Even when strategies are bad, they're kind of capitalizing on bad strategies from other teams, which is great. I think Aya Komatsu coming into the picture for Haas, I think being a long-standing member at Haas, I think he understands the team better. A lot of people did receive backlash with respect to how Gunther Steiner was treated, but in hindsight, if they kind of leave that objective, Aya Komatsu has been doing really, really well. I think they've gone probably 2 or 3 steps forward from where they were earlier. And I think it's a very good battle for them to have with Williams, where they're consistently scoring points. But yeah, Tsunoda and Hulk.
Also,
Sorry. I'll just finish this off. Tsunoda and Hulk were literally the imposters in that top 10. It almost felt like Among Us, and then these two are just sneaking there, taking one person after the other, and then just going around the entire field as such. Yeah, I'll let you take over.
no, I was adding to the point where you said about Gunther Steiner, right? about how he was treated bad. Well, another point to be added for the generic news, where Gunther Steiner has sued Haas.
Oh, right. That's true. I
Yeah.
forgot about it.
Yeah, Gunther Steiner, what a move from Gunther Steiner. Like, literally, unexpectedly, Gunther Steiner comes in and sues Haas. Literally, like his old boss, Gene Haas, is literally just like, so you did this to me, huh, boy? But also, he nevertheless showed up for Miami GP. He was literally driving the driver's parade truck, right?
Really?
Yeah,
I did
he
not
was
notice.
driving that. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was driving the driver's parade truck. Literally, he just
Crazy,
walks
man.
out of the truck and he's like waves hi and all. Yeah, that's. He's like,
Crazy.
"Hi, I'm the one who sued Gene Haas for kick him, like for firing me."
But yeah, jokes apart, I think towards the end of quali, we started seeing, the ramp. The ramp up was not great. People were losing time. And I think most of the grid remained same except for two results. And that's how quali ended. And then the big topic, the entire F1 fraternity, the entire motorsports fraternity that has been waiting for the last 110 races. We'll talk about it. But talking about the race start, what a start! What a start! Perez almost took off Max Verstappen from the race, which I think was a tiny little possibility of my co-host's wishes of a Red Bull crashing out, an RB crashing out, not a Red Bull. Correcting my words, paraphrasing or quote unquote calling it out the right way. There's always an RB to crash. There's always the wrong RB to crash. This time it was almost the right RB to crash, not one but two. Missed out by a whisker.
Man, oh man, what a start! What a start! And also, why did that happen? Why didn't it happen? Like it was this close. Why didn't it happen? It should have happened. But yeah, especially when that happened, like that almost happened, where Perez almost took Max. Oh my God, the whole crowd went bonkers. Literally, just it was millimeters gap between Perez and Max. He will never be this lucky again. Man literally used the luck of his life, and he survived to see another day.
Definitely,
But
I think.
nevertheless,
But yeah, I think I kind of fell asleep by the fifth lap. So whatever I'm talking is through a rewatch, just in case everybody knows. And I think most of them would relate to me. Everybody slept, woke up, and realized that, okay, what just happened? Did somebody crash out? Did Max crash out in the first place? And then you go there and like, oh, Max got overtaken. Okay. So I think a lot of things happened. To be precise, I think people were losing a lot of grip. People were struggling for traction. Again, we found a very similar situation like the sprint, except there was a different driver fighting Max. This time it was Lewis and Hülkenberg fighting for positions, swapping positions left, right, center. But Lewis definitely coming, the triumphant out of the two. But a very uncharacteristic event that happened. Max Verstappen goes off track, hits a bloody bollard, and loses his floor. How rare does this ever happen? How rare is such an occurrence? Our man here was,
for
had he been awake, this man would have put one Saravedi, put one thousand wala on the road, and he would have jumped all over, waking half of Bangalore. 100%.
no, see, to be honest, the last race that ever affected Max was in the Baku.
Dude, what are you talking? 2, 3 races ago, his brakes exploded.
Oh shoot! Yeah, how can I forget that?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
How
My
how
bad.
how can
But
you how can you
anyway,
do this?
oh my God, how can I forget that? But sorry. Anyway, I'm just gonna distract all the viewers. I'm just gonna make all the viewers forget that I forgot. But anyway, Max hits a bollard, gets a damage to its under of
Yeah,
his car, and that affected Man a lot actually.
yeah.
But that is the first part of the incident which would result in someone else getting the win. Let's just keep Max hitting the bollard aside, and let's just continue to the second part where K Mag and Sargent they collide and brings out
A
voila
safety car.
safety car.
Everybody wanted that. But very
Everybody
unfortunate for
needed that.
Logan. Very, very unfortunate for Logan. I think, being his home race of sorts, it was not the best end for him. And I don't think he's gonna keep continuing. There are rumors of Kimi Antonelli coming in by Imola. Not the most exciting news for Sargent, not the most exciting result for him either. He did not have a great weekend all over. K-Mag, as usual, he's always up for a fight, goes a little too far. Both of them come together and bring out the safety car, which kind of played into the hands of a person who has not won a race in the last 110 races. Sochi 2021 sounds intensified way too much. And then, had I been watching the race, I would have been like, is this going to be another radio disaster? That radio still rings in my ears, dude. I'm like, you should change for wet tires. No, I have enough grip. And then man goes off to one corner, crashing into the wall. Man, what a roller coaster ride Lando Norris has had. Literally, I
Oh,
think
definitely.
again Max's misfortune played into his hands, and I think the safety car restart, Lando literally nailed it. Do you have anything to add to it? I know wrong Red Bull. I know he did not crash out, but I want to hear you talk about it.
No, I mean, it's still fine that Red Bull didn't crash out or anything, but at least Red Bull did win for a change. So I am glad with that actually. But anyway, Lando took the benefit out of the safety car. He changes the tires, especially when he was in the lead. He was 11 seconds lead with Max Verstappen, and especially during the safety car, if you pit, the average time lost is 9 seconds. So basically, even if he does pit, he doesn't lose his position at all. So within the 4 laps of safety car, after the safety car restarts, Lando Norris, he is immense under pressure from Max Verstappen behind his bottom, and and but man, oh man, he kept Max Verstappen on bay. He did not let a single space for Max Verstappen to pass by, and he that's the moment where he realized that he just passed off, like he just zoomed off from Max Verstappen. And also, you remember I was talking about the first part of the incident where Max Verstappen crashes with the Pollard. That is where it supports Lando Norris because of the damage. Max couldn't catch up with Lando, and because of the aero damage, of course. And that's it. Lando Norris was gone by then. Anyway, Lando keeps winning.
This
He
is not. This is not a. Oh no. This is not a promotion. But yeah, this is the color of victory this week. Just so you know. And no, this was
and
not planned.
basically,
This was not planned. Not planned.
and also my background is also papaya. Damn it. Okay, never mind the effects. This is
I
not
mean, that's
editor's
that's
thing.
literally
Do
how
not give.
that's literally how night races are celebrated. So it's okay. Night episodes will celebrate like this.
But also, do not give credits to editor for the effect behind me. That is not editor's thing.
Thanks to iPad, Apple sir, Tim Cook sir. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
that is yes. Tim Cook sir, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Lando he wins the race. His dream is finally fulfilled, where he can see what the world looks like from the top step of the podium.
And I think it was very evident on his face when he was at the podium. He was like, it almost looked like there was a lot of relief in the way that he was breathing on that podium. And obviously very cute of all the other people across the entire board. MotoGP official handles tweeting it, a lot of other drivers tweeting it. Lewis Hamilton, being very excitedly waving his hand while he was on the cool down lap and getting into Park Fermé. Seemed very, very wholesome, across the entire paddock. And I think the entire motorsport fraternity really, really wanted to see that someday. I think it was always a question of when, but not how, right? Because Lando, being the talent that he is, being the generational talent that he is, it was always a question of when, but not how. And I think little too late, but better late than never. Definitely, there's always a silver lining to anything that we see. But yeah, I think overall he deserved it. Definitely got it on pure merit, but I think a lot of credit also goes to the people behind the work of the car, right? So the kind of changes that they brought out an entirely new front wing. They made changes to the floor, and both of them were complaining of steering issues. Norris was complaining that the steering was heavy to the right, and Piastri also came and said the steering is heavy on both sides. But still, both of them seem to be managing things really, really well. And I think both of them have very, very qualitative feedback that's playing into the hands of McLaren's growth in this season, where I think if they play their cards right, I think they'll be able to finish ahead of Mercedes at the end of the season. But yeah, I think only time will tell.
Yeah, definitely
So-
the time will tell. But anyway, McLaren is looking really good because they are leading Mercedes by a lot.
I think
of
the
margin.
way that we're seeing them heading after 6 races definitely seems like a good direction that they're heading towards. And the overall sentiment also seems really positive. Both of them are pushing each other really well. Both drivers are pushing each other really well. So yeah, nevertheless, I think as of today, the entire order stands like Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes. Is it Mercedes or McLaren? I haven't seen the standings.
No, I think it's McLaren.
McLaren, Mercedes, whatever. Potato. Both of them are McLaren peoples, so we do not care. So yeah, that's been their overall weekend for us. I think it's been a pretty good ride. I think I can't wait for the next weekend. It's going to be the Italian Grand Prix at Imola, the legendary race. Sempre Senna. We'll see you then.
Till now, it's a landmark day for Lando. Lando Norris wins for the first time in Formula One. It's victory in Miami for Norris and McLaren. The British driver's dream is realised.